What's going on, everybody? So quite recently I've been working on this bar for the last 2 weeks. I've shown some of my work online to a CGI group that I'm part of, and a few people who followed my post have asked me to create a tutorial on this bar. So through a series of videos I will be showing you how to create this bar. I couldn't do a voiceover at the time as my neighbour's doing some renovations to her property, so there's a lot of banging and stuff. So I'm actually recording this at 5 AM after I did the whole recording of what I did. So I'm going to be doing the voiceover, going to be talking you through it and basically how I've done everything. This project for you guys, it may take over 20 hours, so do take a break, eat, sleep, go for a walk, whatever your heart desires. And also make sure that your workstation is clean, your PC is clean, you're in a well ventilated room. My PC's actually got liquid cooling, so it's a lot easier to cool down than the traditional fan based PCs. So yeah, there's a lot of work going into this. I got impatient with a little bit of it because I couldn't quite figure out what I was doing, but I figured it out in the end. So if you see me go back on something that I previously made, it's because I'm trying to edit it, I'm trying to get a feel of what something should look like. So I'm going to stop talking now and we'll start this tutorial. Okay, so to begin this project, I actually started out with a plane and then added a wall at the side of it. These are two separate planes. One's at 90 degrees to the other one. And then I've extruded them just slightly so that they've got a little bit of thickness. I'm just adjusting one of the walls to the side of the floor here. And then we're pressing it's Control R to just split and add another face. And then with E for extruding. And then you want to press G to move it. And then hold down the center scroll wheel. And then you'll be able to move it across the plane so that it's straight. Here we're going to go ahead and add a cube. This will act as our bar. Originally I wanted to make this project a pub, but then it kind of turned into a nightclub / casino kind of thing, so I just went ahead and just made a bar. We're going to position it where we'd like to have it. At this point I'm experimenting with the lighting and I'm also experimenting with the layout of what I'd like to do with this project. In theory we could use the default cube for this, but as tradition, all of us Blender people, we tend to delete it. Here I'm just figuring out some adjustments that I'm doing. I'm trying to figure out how big the room's going to be, how big the bar to the room's going to be, how tall the ceiling is, just trying to gauge what I'd like to do with it. Also, you can do any layout that you would like. You don't have to copy mine through and through, but you can copy mine. That's the whole point of this tutorial, to teach you how to do it. Here I'm just adjusting the size of the bar. Again, the positioning, just making sure that everything's okay. This is kind of the boring bit because it's just trying to figure out what I'm doing with the project. Trying to figure out what sizes I would like everything to be. Putting things into proportion. So here we are selecting Control R just to split it so that I can gauge how big the bar is going to be. I'm also hitting E for extrude here so that I can make a curve of the bar. And at this point I'm going to be adding a little bit more vertices into here, a little bit more faces, because I want to curve this bar around. So we're going to go G for grab, and then we're going to hit the central scroll wheel and we're just going to move it across the plane so that it's straight. I'm just adjusting the bar here. As you can see, it's a little bit blocky, so I'm adding some more vertices in here. and then I'm just going to pull these out a little bit. I made a little bit of a mistake there, so I'm just going to hit Shift Z, I believe it is, Control Z, depending on your keyboard, and you can see it's a lot more smoother around the edges. Okie dokie, so right here we're creating the sides, moulding it a little bit, giving the bar a bit of a lip. Again, we're pressing Control R to do this. I mean, you can experiment as much as you'd like with this. Generally, I like to hit Control R and I like to have a vertices that's almost midway, so that I can later edit it. We're going to press E for extrude for this, and then S to scale along the vertices. Now you'll see that there's some vertices popping out at the side there. I'm going to edit those a little later on in the video. I just need to get a feel for what I would like the bar to look like first. And then again, we're selecting all the vertices. When you select all the vertices, press Shift, so that the previous vertices that you do select will still be selected, and then you're just going to press S to scale and scale that inwards a little bit. Now you see that I'm editing the vertices that are sticking out right here in the faces. So we're just going to go into the top there and we're just going to click the vertices select, and then we're just going to drag them across using G. Right here we are dividing again, just to create that little lip, because usually bars have a slight dip to them. Also creates a little, I wouldn't say texture, but it creates a little bit more roundness to the desk as well. So we're just sectioning off the edge pieces here, and then we're going to go ahead and hit Shift. We're just going to hold down Shift and Control, and then you're just going to click the vertices that you would like. Now this doesn't work every single time. You've got to click them, how do I put this, as long as they're within the range of one another, because if you click one that's off the range of it, it will select everything. So we're E for extruding, we're just G for moving it, S for scaling, and this is what it should look like in the light with all the shade. And we have just one light at the moment. There will be multiple for the bar and also for the poker table. And here I'm just doing some small details on the side, just to make the bar look a little bit more fancy and less dull. Again, to select multiple vertices, you're going to want to be holding down the Shift button, clicking the vertices that you want. Alternatively, if you would like to select multiple vertices, of course you can see box select there, B for box select, and you just drag it across and it will literally select anything that you hover that box over. Okay, so now I'm going to be adding some colours to the project, working out what I'd like the bar to look like. So we're going to come down to this tab right here. We're going to hit the plus tab and we're going to add new, because I would like to add two colours to this. So all of the vertices that you've just seen me select right there, if you press a sign at the bottom of the second one, you will basically be able to change the colour of that from the original colour. Here I'm just turning down the roughness, and I'm also giving it a little bit of a tint because I kind of want the bar to be just slightly shiny, but not quite shiny. So later on I'm going to edit the tint again. You can see that I've actually dropped the tint at this point, but it is shiny in the end. We're selecting more vertices here. I'm going to be placing a third colour. Just kind of break up the bar a little bit. So we press plus again and we're going to hit new. I'm going to click assign. And then we're going to choose the colour. And of course, here comes in the shine, the metallic, the roughness going down, so it's more of a mirror material. And then we're going to click right click or left click, depending on your opposite click that you have. And we're going to hit smooth object. As you can see, this is actually real time. I'm working super fast here, so I'm trying to catch up with what I'm doing. So again, we're going to be hitting Control R, and then we're just going to be dividing the object up. We're going to be making some shelves at the back here. Now if you're new to Blender and all this is confusing you right now, it does take time to learn some of this stuff. You know, don't kick yourself for whatever that you can't do certain things, because it takes time, it takes practice. So have some patience with yourself. Just, you know, do what you can do at the minute, I would say. So we're going to hit E for extrude right here. And then we're going to do the same to the other side. We're going to press the shift button to select multiple. I certainly know when I first started out in Blender I was terrible. I think the first project that I did was water going into a glass with ice. That was what we did. And that was like the very first projects that were out. So of course we're assigning a colour to this as well, to the shelves, to break those away from the main bar. And this is what we should have. Of course, I've just got rid of the wall, just so that you can see a whole 360 around it whilst I work. And of course now we're going to add the side details as well. I tend to like to make strips in the middle so that you can experiment as much as you can, because if you just divide it in one place and then try to extrude it, it won't work. So here you can see that I have multiple. I'm actually using the scroll wheel at this point, so if you hit Control R, you will get the line that comes up, and then if you hit the scroll wheel, it will give you multiple lines, and it'll divide it into thirds or quarters or, you know, eighths, whatever you would like. Okay, so you see that there's a lot of squares here. I'm going to press shift again. I'm going to select the boxes that I need and unselect the ones that I don't need. You see that I'm going for the middle ones here as well. I don't want those in. Those were just general measurements from previously, so I'm not going to go for the curve here. Primarily because if I extrude this, it's going to go in one direction and it's not going to look right. Excuse me. So for E for extrude again. And then we're going to do the same to this side, and I will show you why I'm not extruding every single side just in a moment. so I'm just editing this here. You can see how I'm going back on it and I'm not quite happy with how that looks. Try to figure out the size comparisons here. Again, I'm just doing this freehand. I give myself full artistic kind of freedom with this to do whatever I wanted. So there's no measurements. As Bob Ross would say, and my art tutor said, happy mistakes. It'll be our little secret. So here we go again, we're selecting the vertices here. And then we're going to hit E for extrude. And just bring those in a little bit. Now we're going to do the side ones here, and I'll show you why. Because if you've got a 90-degree angle on the other side, and you say you selected all those faces that you've just seen right now, if you pressed E for extrude, they wouldn't be straight in the end, so you've got to take some time to do one side and then do the other side. So on this corner angle here, you'll actually see that the plane will allow it to be extruded at an angle, so it seems more natural. See what I mean? So E for extrude again. And you can see that they look straighter than if I grab them all. So what I'm doing now is I'm selecting every single vertices that I've just extruded, and we're going to change the colour of these. Now for this bar, I decided in the end that I wanted red, blue, and I wanted like a black theme. I wanted like punk. So I'm not too sure what I put the bar as at this point. I do know it's blue in the end. So we're going with the kind of gothic punk look, all the darker shades, colours, and stuff. I originally chose red, I think, for this, like a maroon colour. Maybe not, more of a black. And of course I've missed one vertices here, so I'm going back and editing it. I think I'm just looking at how it's built, whether I'm happy with that. Of course we're changing the colours again. And yeah, of course, I wanted like a black brickwork in the background. So I'm just going to remove the wall right now, and we're going to change the floor colour. This at this point is more experimenting with colours and more experimenting with what I would like it to look like. This is why I'm panning around the object and I'm kind of making decisions and, you know, does this look okay? Does this look right? And right here I'm making the floor metallic. And also removing the roughness and stuff. I think it's good to play around with what you're doing as well. Just take some time to do it, because in the end you'll figure stuff out that you probably never realised at the beginning. So we're going to select a default cube here again. We're on the object mode, so we're not actually on the bar object itself. Oh, sorry, we're selecting the plane. Okay, so I think at this point this is either the mirror or this is the back wall that I decided to have. I think I remade the actual wall, so this is a plane at 90 degrees. To do that, all you're going to do is just rotate, put it on the correct axis with the central scroll wheel, and then just click 90, just click 90 on your keyboard and it should go straight to 90 degrees, and then just press enter. Yeah, we're selecting one of the vertices here at the side, and then we're going to E for extrude. So the original wall that we built, I would suggest that you delete that one but keep the floor, because clearly this worked out a lot better for me. Again, I'm just adjusting the bar, making sure that it works. I think at this point I kind of figured out that this wasn't working out and I wanted to change the layout a little bit. So I've just gone ahead and skipped forward just slightly here as I was making the adjustments. Now this one was supposed to be some sort of light that I was making, but in the end I decided I don't like this, you know. I was supposed to select different vertices, make it kind of like a chandelier kind of thing, but in the end I just decided I didn't want it. So moving on from the chandelier idea, I then decided to move the bar more central into the room. So here I'm actually experimenting with the mirror functions. And I'm also just editing this little bit out here that I forgot to do before. I'm just moving the vertices in. Again, just multi-selecting with the shift and then clicking on what I'd like. And then just J for grab, and then scroll wheel to move it across the plane. So I'm going to show you right here why this idea did not work. So we're looking for the mirror functions right here, which is a little bit up. At the time I couldn't really see it, but I can see it now, clear as day. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and hit mirror, but I don't want you to do this bit because I'm going to show you why you shouldn't be doing this bit. You can if you want to, you can experiment with this, but personally I wouldn't. So you can see that the bar actually intersects with itself. You've got intersecting vertices right there. And of course I'm just readjusting, just trying to find out what I'd like to do with this project. So in the end, you can actually see on the picture that it is a horse-shaped bar. It's a horseshoe bar. Excuse me. And you can see that I've pulled out two bars right here. And what I'm going to do, this is Shift D to duplicate. And then of course, I've right or left clicks depending on how you've got your mouse set up, just to mirror that on the y-axis. So now we do have the horse-shaped bar that you can see in the original picture, and I'm just going to adjust the floor accordingly as I would like it. I'm just going to move them a little bit closer as well, so that you can't see the seam as much. So this is actually the beginning of the back bit of the wall, and so what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to do a part 2 now because we are 24 minutes in. So I'm going to see you guys in part 2. Thank you for watching.